Hello and welcome back to another episode of Generation Films. My name is American Ben. Sorry we have to do a weird one-off video today. It's because I went rafting aboard the high seas the other day with British Ben and Alan, and I had to save them from vicious sea monsters like river dolphins and the scurvy beast. Anyway, god dang it's hard to remember all of the movies that have shaped my life. I mean, I was especially socialized through the world of cinema and television. Everything from Dragon Ball Z to The Last Samurai taught me how to interact with people. And yeah, becoming socialized through movies doesn't really work that well. Trying to do the things that Leonardo DiCaprio does in Catch Me If You Can, for instance, not a good idea. Do not, and I repeat, do not try to charm bank tellers into helping you commit fraud. You'll do time. I mean, maybe I shouldn't have picked a 300-pound dude named Bob to try and charm, but alas, movies shape the way we see the world. And for me, well, a lot of my perspective was formed via science fiction and fantasy. There were times when I thought I was Sir Lancelot and others that I believed I was a Klingon. I was Worf for Halloween when I was 8 or 9 years old. The year before that, I was a knight. And yes, I was often pushed into lockers in school hallways, sometimes by my teachers. And I'm sure many of you out there watching this video, well, while you might not have been given wedgies on a daily basis, still had your childhoods defined by some of the same movies and shows that I did. We all know about Star Trek and Star Wars. The latter especially has played a role in the life of almost every kid who was born after 1977. I'll never forget my father's friend Tim pleading with me to join the dark side. To which I would perplexedly respond, no, I want to join the light side. Eventually, Tim gave up in frustration and retreated back to his Sith hideout somewhere in Virginia, which consequently is one big Sith hideout. Now, where Star Wars certainly played a large role in my formative years, teaching me subconsciously that red is evil and green is good, and that you're not cool unless you have a fake hand, there were other science fiction movies that had a big impact on me as well. Most of such movies were not as internationally successful as Star Wars, and some of such movies have come to be totally forgotten over the course of time. One of such movies is a special little flick called The Last Starfighter, and today I want to spend some time remembering this movie, so I can hear what some of you guys think about it, what it meant to you, and possibly even introduce some people to it who have never heard of it before. Spoiler alert, of course, though I'll avoid any major spoilers where I can. Now, please don't get ahead of me here. I'm not saying that The Last Starfighter is as important to science fiction history or as good of a movie as Star Wars is, or at least the original trilogy was. But what I am saying is that it was a movie that made my imagination run wild. And that's really key to understanding The Last Starfighter's importance in sci-fi movie history. Where Star Wars told the story of heroism in a galaxy far, far away, The Last Starfighter told a story that I as a kid believed could happen to me. To be fair, I also ate a lot of paper as a boy. A lot. The film starts in a trailer park. Oh, actually it starts with the credits, which show that apparently some guy named King Baggett was the movie's cinematographer, and that's a damn great name. But back to the trailer park, where before Joe Rogan came down from the heavens to teach mankind jujitsu, there was Alex Rogan, a poor teen with little opportunity and big dreams. Alex spent his time fixing things around the trailer park for his mother, who was the manager of the park, and he also chilled with his girlfriend Maggie. Sometimes when Maggie would run off with her friends to do white people things like ride around in circles in a pickup truck, Alex would find himself with just a bit of free time. He would use the reprieve to head over to the local general store to play an arcade game there called Starfighter, a game he was especially good at. Alex was going through the same stage of childhood that many kids go through, where the innocence of youth is slowly giving way to the accursed world of adulthood, where life's bullshit ways attempt to lock newly minted grown-ups away in cubicles to waste away in the doldrums of reality. See, when you're a kid, your mind is not mature enough to recognize how complicated and difficult the world is. But while children might not play arcade games to escape a hollow reality, they're at least smart enough to realize that sometimes the world that PlayStation offers is a lot more fantastical and rewarding than the one around them. To me, looking back, this is why The Last Starfighter was so effective. It played on one's most childish sense of escapism, similar to Ready Player One. Here's this kid in Alex who is trying his best to get into and go to college because that's what you've got to do to make it, to be successful, according to whoever. And in real life, 100 times out of 100, you do have to get that day job in the end, as one's most phantasmagorical dreams fade away. But not Alex Rogan, because The Last Starfighter is a movie, and in this movie, video games are very important. One night, seemingly just like any other night, Alex, in his brief downtime, took to Starfighter to blow off some stress from the day. He was hardly even paying attention when Otis, the manager of the general store, noticed that he was about to break the high score.
900,000! You're gonna bust the record!
Many of the residents of the park surrounded him and cheered him on as he crushed the record.
Command ship, entering kill zone.
Command ship! Oh, command ship!
The townsfolk celebrated. Maggie fawned. Everyone in the town took video games way too seriously, and that was such a beautiful thing. It was as if 10-year-old boys were writing this movie. I mean, I got every achievement in Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, and the only thing people wanted to talk about was the D I got in math class. Like, do you understand that accomplishment? Getting back to the movie though, soon the joy of video game glory subsided as Alex found out from his mom that he didn't get the scholarship he needed to go to college. Now in real life, this is where someone like Alex would need to put a plan together to get himself back on track. But instead, the arcade machine started calling to him. And before he knew it, a futuristic automobile appeared behind him, opened its gull-wing doors, and the driver inside entreated him to get in, which he did. Inside, he met Centauri, who revealed his vehicle to be a space car, and they took off into the stars. Though Alex wasn't that freaked out by this. It was more Centauri taking off his face that got to him, though when you're poor, you're used to seeing crazy stuff happen. Aliens actually hide in impoverished neighborhoods because no one ever looks there. Centauri took Alex to the planet Rylos, where he was non-consensually recruited into the Ryland Star League's military, which at the time was in the middle of a war with the evil Kodan Empire. There, Alex discovered that the arcade game he played back on Earth was actually a test designed to help Starfighter Command, the arm of the Star League that operated its fleet of Gunstar fighters, find the best potential starfighters in the galaxy. I went absolutely crazy for this as a kid. A video game that's actually a recruitment program for a space military engaged in intergalactic warfare. And this kid Alex, bored of his lame existence, had gone from a trailer park to the stars, from Star Dreamer to Starfighter. It wasn't just the story of the movie that got to me either. It has some great sci-fi elements aside from its narrative. It's got some cool alien species like the Bugattis, who will fight you for pretty much any reason, and then there's Grig, whatever his race is, the wise friendly alien who shows Alex the ropes of space.
My apologies, Starfighter. Star Navigator First Class Grig, at your service, sir.
Beyond the characters, there's some interesting technology and ideas in the movie as well, even if nothing was stunningly original at the time the movie came out. The Star League was fighting to defend something called the Frontier, a barrier of energy that surrounded all of the peaceful star systems within the Star League across hundreds of light years, and thereby functioned as a defense grid against attack from malicious alien species like the Kodan. Then the 20-meter Gunstar ships that served as the space superiority fighters of Starfighter Command are also really memorable to me. The ships were operated by a two-man team of a navigator, pilot, and a starfighter who operated the ship's weapons from an omnidirectional rotating gunnery seat. The Gunstar special attack, known as the Death Blossom, was a thrilling xeno-annihilating fireworks display. Happy July 4th, everybody. The Starfighter suits also really stand out in my mind, and I may or may not secretly like them just as much as Star Wars Rebel flight suits. The Kodan had some pretty sweet threads as well, and eye scanners that looked like they could read power levels. The Last Starfighter also has its own take on the synthetic, as when Alex was taken away to fight a space war, as a courtesy, the Star League sent a beta unit, also known as a Simuloid, to take his place on Earth, including making out with his girlfriend. Simuloid Alex provided for some comedic fare, as he was programmed terribly and had no idea how to fit in with the humans. He took off his head in front of Alex's little brother, no doubt an event that would eventually necessitate years of therapy, and he couldn't quite get laughing down either. But of course, the Last Starfighter's most enjoyable moments come in space, amidst battle between an evil alien species and the galaxy's last hope, a gamer kid and an amiable alien. The Last Starfighter was more a quaint but charming space tale than an epic space opera. It was touching and had a simple message and a few bits of wisdom.
Listen, Centauri, I'm not any of those guys. I'm a kid from a trailer park.
If that's what you think, then that's all you'll ever be.
Though maybe don't get into cars with strangers, kids, especially not ones who tell you they're going to take you to space. But seriously, there's nothing complicated about The Last Starfighter. It's just, don't give up on yourself. Today might suck, but tomorrow you might be counted on to save the galaxy. So hold out hope. You know, it might seem like kind of an illogical notion that a boy should wish to be drawn into a war in space. After all, in reality, that'd be kind of scary compared to the safety of terrestrial existence. However, what's missed in thinking about such things rationally is that while leaving Earth behind might be a hard thing to do when actually given the chance to do so, space war could be better than a trailer park, and a grand adventure is probably better than the eternal blahs of earthly life. That's what kids get about The Last Starfighter, that adults forget. A moment in one's imagination is worth more than 1,000,000 years confined to the laws of reality. So what say you, Starfighters?
Victory or death! Victory or death! Victory or death!
Aye, victory or death. Anyways, that's the video. Please do give it a like if you enjoyed it. As I said, down in the comments below, let me know what you thought of this movie either as a kid or even today. That's the whole reason that I did this video in the first place. I never see it come up anywhere on YouTube. We've never done really much of anything on it. I never see it mentioned in the comments. So hopefully this will give a little bit of life to a discussion surrounding the film. Subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell to see all of our awesome upcoming content. For now, or until the next dimension, my friends. My name is American Ben, and I'll catch you next time. Generation Films, peace.